Hello, and welcome to Please Don't Send Me into Outer Space, the podcast intent on exploring all that science fiction and fantasy has to offer, one movie at a time. My name is Joel.
My name is David.
My name is Engineer.
She's a Cylon. Wait, what are you?
My name is Lawrence of Arabia.
These are those dorks that are like, I'm always talking about some movie that I'm obsessed with. Hey, you remember that part in Lawrence of Arabia? Shut up, David. Not you, David. The David in the movie.
Are you talking about David D. Roy, the writer of our theme song?
Yeah, shut up, David.
He's a cool guy.
David conveniently has the same name as the robot in this movie.
What movie?
Prometheus, Joel.
The movie this week is Prometheus from... What year is this?
I'm going to say 2012.
Let's try this again.
2012.
The movie this week is Prometheus from 2012.
Oh!
Directed by Ridley Scott. Written by John Spates, Damon Lindelof. Based on Dan O'Bannon's and Ronald Schusett's original creations. Starring Noomi Rapace. Logan Marshall Green. Michelle Fassbender. What's wrong with my mouth today? Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron, Idris Elba, a bunch of other people. Guy Pearce. Sean Harris.
Did you say Idris Elba?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Idris.
The gunslinger.
And Benedict Wong from Doctor Strange.
Oh.
And Kate Dickey from The Witch and Game of Thrones.
The Witch.
Yeah. And Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen.
Oh.
Right. He played the guys.
Oh, you're saying our engineer character that we first see as this movie opens?
Yeah.
His perfect statuesque body is disrobed, revealing a loincloth.
It's part of their alien culture to blast them abs.
Okay. So after you're doing like your ancient alien planking for like I don't know, 6 days a week, you're just like, hey, here's a loincloth, go out on this planet
And a robe.
and drink this magical cantaloupe thing, we're gonna leave you.
I think they don't have to work out. I think they can control the way their bodies look with their minds.
Dang.
Truly an advanced species.
They can like cellularly build the body that they want.
Okay. So no more need for planking. Okay.
Well, I think they could plank if they wanted to.
Sure.
But I think they have other things to do. Just creating and destroying civilizations.
Oh, fair enough.
I think they've got those machines like Prince Xizor had in the Shadows of the Empire Star Wars book that was like an electronic thing that worked out his muscles for him.
Okay.
And
So he could focus on his like pheromone powers?
Yeah. So he just they constantly have those things going while they're doing their normal stuff.
Did you have his action figure by any chance, Joel?
No, I didn't know there was an action figure.
Yeah, I had
Confession.
I worked a really bad job so I could have money so I could buy Shadows of the Empire action figures.
Well, as long as you got
that's
your
awesome.
priorities.
Dash Rendar, I had him.
Priorities.
I had Xizor. I had IG-88 for a short period of time, but I think I traded him. I shouldn't have though.
No, you shouldn't have. And that's worth big bucks now.
I know.
And Dash Rendar, he's just been wiped out of continuity.
I know. Never see my Shadow of the Empire movie.
Yeah, I don't know. They brought back, what's his name? Blueface.
Oh?
Blue Man. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Let's see here. Blueface. Are you referring to...
It was created by Timothy Zahn, I want to say.
Blueface.
Anyways, Prometheus.
Oh, this is the greatest mystery of all. I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
A movie about some unlucky space travelers and their robot friend.
Yeah.
It's really a movie about love.
Is that what it is about, Joel?
Yeah. Love for each other, love for your creator. The complicated relationship between creator and createe.
Ancient aliens?
No, that's just racism. Anyway.
Ancient aliens. I think, I haven't kept count of how many movies have used this premise as an idea. I don't know if I liked this movie that much.
That's okay. I understand completely.
I do think it had something in common with the sequel, which we watched before this. This was my first time seeing Prometheus, but we had already watched the one that follows it, for the podcast.
Alien and Aliens and Alien 3. Oh, you mean for the podcast? No, that was just Alien Covenant.
No, the Alien, yeah.
I see.
Only the Alien prequels have we watched for the podcast, Joel.
Oh, you know why we watched this movie this week?
Well, of course, Joel. Because sometimes Santa Claus needs to be in space.
Because it's International Idris Elba Day.
Hey.
Happy Idris Elba Day. Everybody. Now they get a Christmas tree for some stupid reason. I mean, it doesn't play into the plot, but hey, guess what? It's around Christmas time when we're releasing this, therefore, Christmas movie. Now, did you guys get what you wanted for Christmas? Because Sarah definitely, it doesn't seem like she did.
I mean, this movie has some gifts in it. I mean, one might consider, well, maybe wrapped gifts, at least, vases. Some of them are little porous containers.
Full of little juicy boogers.
That's right. All kinds of boogers in this movie.
Booger City.
Jelly bean buttons. Boogers.
As David said in the movie, I believe we've discovered Booger City.
That's exactly what Michael Fassbender said.
Yep. So I also hadn't seen this before. And now I kind of want to rewatch Alien Covenant so that I can see all the things I didn't know. There were things you were itching to talk about that we didn't talk about. And since this isn't that old a movie, I think we should kind of do a pre-spoiler talk before we get into actual spoilers, just because.
Sure.
For things. I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I can't really see why somebody wouldn't like it unless they had their expectations up high, which is very difficult with it. I don't know why you would do that with a Ridley Scott movie. You'd be disappointed every time.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to go into some deep criticism right away, first of all, I'll preface, much like when you're a manager and you have to give some critique to somebody.
Manager.
There's a different couple ways you can do that.
Oh, you're going to do a sandwich?
Yeah, that's
very good.
Positive thing, negative thing, positive thing. I've been a manager myself. I understand.
So let's start off with a positive thing.
All right, so positive thing.
I mean, do you like this movie after?
Well, that was gonna. My first positive thing is that I really liked this movie a lot when I saw this in the theater, and it was actually pretty freaking epic. Seeing a lot of that scenery that you see in this film, both alien and on Earth, or proposed alien landscape, the Giger inspired craft for all the stuff that I'm spoiling right now. It's just really beautiful. It's very beautiful stuff. But
okay, now the filling.
A lot of these characters are unlikable, and characters that unfortunately I don't care about. And that's my problem with this movie.
That's the problem I had with.
It was pretty. This movie's very pretty and fun, and very interesting stuff going on. But yeah, that's my critique.
That's the problem I had with Alien Covenant. I remember I didn't care about any of those characters. I didn't care that they were dying because none of them were in the slightest appealing. At least I had interest in Noomi Rapace's character in this.
Okay. Yeah.
Like she.
Oh yeah,
I
Elizabeth
had
Shaw.
sympathy for.
Yeah.
And I actually feel like I had sympathy for Charlize Theron's character because she like literally was like, I just want to do my job and I want to get out of here with as much people alive as we can.
But with that kind of twinge of still trying to get some form of respect from her father and it just not being present.
Right. But how could she get anything from her father? Her father's dead, Aaron.
Oh.
Also, we don't know who her father is, Aaron.
Oh.
Anyway. She does to spoil something for the. I'm just going to spoil this for the listeners right now.
No, it's okay.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to spoil something, listeners. If you don't want to hear a spoiler, you should just skip ahead for about 10 seconds. I'm glad that she had sex with Idris Elba. Anyways, this movie. So, tell me what you had a hard time with, Liv.
Okay, so I really wanted to see this movie when it was in the theaters. And I can't believe that was already 6 years ago now. Thinking about probably what else was going on at the time. I think we were at the movie theater outside with Nick and Kelsey, our friends, and talking potentially about going in to see it. And I hadn't even really started watching very many horror movies at that point. But, yeah, the past few years I've given them more of a chance and I've kind of, what do you call it? Killed that demon.
The initial fear that comes with the idea.
Yeah, but, so this movie, I had pretty much, like, wanted to go because I like Michael Fassbender, and when I found out that he was going to be one of the main characters in the movie, and that it had all these other cool actors in it, I was like, I really want to see that. And then we looked up, I think Joel looked up how much violence was going to be in it, and we saw some stuff that we decided we didn't want to see on the big screen just then because I, was afraid of being, like, traumatized or something.
Oh, yeah, totally understandable.
And so in my mind, I kind of had an idea of what this movie was going to be, and I think it was just so different from what I expected. I expected more of it to take place on the ship. I expected it to be kind of more of a light tone, aside from the alien challenge that they would run into inevitably. I think, I don't know. I was just expecting the character of David to have more, because I think I had read an article about it. I think I'd read an article about Michael Fassbender's role in this, and maybe just from reading that article, it made me have a different expectation of the movie than the reality of it was for me.
Okay.
Not to say I don't think it's a bad movie, but yeah, we can get into more of that if you want to.
Sure.
In a bit, but what do you feel like?
If anything, I liked all the atmosphere, and I wasn't expecting it to be on the ship, but I didn't really know what to expect other than what I knew because we'd seen the sequel already. But like, I just keep thinking about how Alien Covenant was like just almost an exact copy of what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
With people just getting infected and doing but they amp up the stupidness. Like, no, these people are really stupid. Like, you thought those scientists were dumb for running into, not running away or whatever. These guys are really dumb.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking, was that we saw the sequel before this one, and that it seems like this one is the same as the sequel is, but it's because we watched them out of order. It's
the pattern
weird.
remains the same, though. It's like you explore, you see something, then you die. Yeah.
And they had a lot of similar art, too, that they took from this one and the next one. Having said that, I think it's an interesting story, and I think that they go, not to spoil it, but yeah, they have a lot of really cool origin story and stuff that they build into it. I think I was expecting it to be more like Alien.
Yeah. Like
the original Alien.
I think that's where the disappointment comes in for a lot of people, too. Because you walked into the movie going, it's an Alien movie, and you didn't really get an Alien movie. You got something I mean, I think it has a lot of things in common with Aliens because they don't really know what they're dealing with. It's just something that is taking out them, piece by piece. But the difference is the main antagonist turns out to be themselves,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't because when I was watching it, I knew we're probably not going to see very much in the way of aliens. And then I heard originally when he was making the movie, like even years before the concept, that Ridley Scott wanted to do a movie about what they called the space jockey, right? And that was the big skeleton that they see in Alien, or not even a skeleton. Like it turns out not to be. That's a spoiler, but yeah, it's not scary. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not a skeleton. It's these guys that they call the engineers, and I think that's a crazy cool concept. And I wish that they had expanded more upon like what they were intending to do and everything like that. And I can see why in the sequel they were like, well, let's just lean even more into mystery. Like we're never going to understand these creatures or whatever. But it's severely disappointing because I thought the whole kind of like weird alien world that they were establishing just here was pretty fascinating. And who knows if there's going to be a third one.
I know. Such a bummer. But, there is a lot to talk about this movie, though. There's some really cool things that pop up. And, I'm pretty excited to discuss that with you guys.
So I think we need to jump into spoilers pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So I say that I really liked it. If you haven't seen it, just, I guess, keep your expectations away. It's not an alien movie. But it is a really good space horror, in my opinion.
Definitely based around Christmas time. Definitely a space movie.
When Santa Claus shows up... spoiler.
Space Santa. Space Xenomorph Santa Claus.
I don't know how
He's got a red robe. He's got a hat that can fit his entire Giger head inside of it.
Yeah, in the beginning when Santa takes off his robe and then he just turns into a puddle. What's going on there?
I forgot about the spotlight on that one in the sequel.
Oh, yeah.
That's special moment.
About. It's like doing the T-pose. Like when a character glitches in like a game or in a movie.
I thought he did like a little dance or something.
Thank you very much.
I think it is an okay movie for an alien movie. I mean, although... Ripley is just such a badass character that it's hard for me to imagine a good alien movie without a character like that in it. And one of the women characters in this movie, I feel like kind of reminded me of that in a way, but it wasn't the main story, and it was kind of just in a superficial, like, horror way, not in, like, the spirit of what made that character cool. Anyway, I do think it's a cool movie, but I probably won't watch it again.
Aaron, now that you've seen it twice.
Oh, I've seen it actually multiple times.
What?
Yeah.
Spoiler. Wait. For real life?
Yeah, I'll probably watch it again. I enjoyed Prometheus far more than the sequel, for various reasons that we'll get into once we get past the spoiler-free section. A thing that I'm not very good at, but I will.
You barely spoiled anything.
Okay,
don't
cool.
Worry.
I'll definitely say there's just a lot of fun aesthetic choices that I really enjoy in this movie. The spacesuits, the tech, all this stuff is really cool. My only disappointment is that I wish the scientists had been a little smarter.
Seems to be a problem with these recent ones.
Absolutely.
Okay, so hey, listener, if you want to email us a suggestion or comment, write in pleasedon'tpodcast@gmail.com. Message us on Facebook, facebook.com/PDSMiOS. I started doing Twitter again. That's @OuterSpacePod, and Instagram, although I don't remember. It might be PDSMiOS Podcast. But check it out. I'll be updating those coming with the new year. I'm trying to get my groove back on for that stuff. That sounds really nerdy. Please, I apologize.
Don't apologize, Joel. Getting your nerd on is exactly what you do once a week.
Yeah. Not here, though. Somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
Here I'm a professional.
Probably when you're playing Dungeons & Dragons with me at Arsenal Comics.
Shh, they're not allowed to know that.
Oh, okay.
arsenal.
Yeah.
Comics
And games.
and games.
That's right.
Ventura
It can be located in Ventura. That's right.
and
Oh, also Newbury Park.
Newbury Park, California.
That's right.
Anyways, let's move on to spoilers here. Spoiler. Turns out they're all robots.
Spoilers coming out of me like a chest burster.
Whoa. Is there even a chest burster in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not a chest burster, it's the chest burster.
That's right.
He looks gross. Sarah, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that, yeah, I must have had higher expectations for it than I realized. But I think that this movie probably would have been more impressive, number one, in the theater, and number two, if I'd seen it before the other one. But, I think that the actors were all pretty good. I mean, they had a lot of famous people in this. They had actors that were, like, well-trained and committed to the roles. I just think that there wasn't very much depth of character.
Yeah.
And I think even though it's so simple in, like, the original Alien or in other older sci-fi movies or, like, I don't know, John Carpenter movies or something, it's like they take a simple story and the character development doesn't have to be that deep, but you care more.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying, I feel like I didn't care as much about these people as I do in other stories.
But just in, like, Alien.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I feel like all those characters in Alien have a personality that we get to see. And it's funny. It's like, that's like a cast of, like, 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, it's a very small cast of 17 crew members on this ship. And, like, who do we get a feel for? Like, David?
Yep.
And
Idris.
Dr. Numi Rapace, what do you say her character is? Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth Shaw.
Elizabeth Shue, star of Leaving Las Vegas. And, like, I didn't really get a feel for her. I don't know if they were married, but let's call her husband. No, not Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I believe that was her boyfriend.
They didn't even get married in space.
They didn't even get space married, Joel.
That's why he died, because they had sexual relations in space.
I know. It was a Christmas horror space movie, and people had sex. You know what that means? Baby. That's right.
This wouldn't be a good movie to watch if you didn't know anything about sex. And you have this, like, fear of, like, being contaminated by an alien creature. Look, I kind of always thought pregnancy is a little bit alien. It's a little bit of a sci-fi type of a deal. You're growing another person inside of you. But in this, they really took that home.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as they could go with it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in a movie.
It blew me away in the theater, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect it. The setup this time around when I was watching it, like, I could see the hints for the setup on it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it in the theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't see
the whole her saying that she can't have a baby, basically, and then and then of course they have relations after he's been infected.
Yeah,
I see. It was making me think of the scene in The Fifth Element where they gotta cut open the opera singer's belly and take out those things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't really think of other scenes where I've seen somebody's... there's a...
The stones, they're inside me.
Spoil Annihilation, there is a scene where somebody's stomach is cut open, but they don't take anything out of him. It's just a really weird, gross part.
I mean, the idea... Alien is such a psychological, like, visceral fear... The idea of being the host of this other thing that's there, that's, like, gonna jump out of you and kill you, and I don't know. I think that it's very scary anyway, but they decided to put that in a womb situation. Yeah. And that's like taking what was already scary and creepy and gross and cringeworthy and making it like even more so that way.
Definitely playing on some fears there, some reproductive fears or
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how other women felt watching that part, but gave me some scary feelings. So
Oh, yeah.
there were yeah.
I mean, I'm not
sympathy senses.
Yeah, I'm not a woman, but I also felt very, very painful feelings watching that. You know what? I call both on that like expert medical pod thing because how could that be an expert medical pod thing? All it did was cut her open, stretch her, and then like use that grabby machine, the claw from frickin' Toy Story.
Well, and this is actually where I want to kind of get into some of my some more disappointments I had with this movie, and you're kind of queuing in on it. So prequels,
yes,
science fiction prequels.
Okay, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
There you go. No, this is exactly where I'm headed with this. It just doesn't add up, man. It just doesn't add up to me.
So what doesn't add up about this?
Okay. Well, first of all the technology looks so far more advanced than what you're getting in Alien. No, hold on. Before you get into the ship, I get it. The Nostradamus is just a mining vessel, right? I get that. But my problem is that like it looks like so much more advanced than anything that we see in Alien.
I mean, it's literally the top of the line that's hauling the cargo of the richest man on the planet.
Right. I get it.
That's the other spoiler.
It was a bit of a disappointment for me, though.
Waylon, whatever, not Yutani. Yutani's not involved. Is on this ship, even though he was supposed to be dead. And he turns out it's Charlize Theron's father somehow. That's not really, that's kind of just a sick burn part.
Yeah.
Not necessary.
They definitely try to make it seem much more important than what
Yeah, it doesn't earn what it was trying to go for.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that there was more hope in an Alien movie because it would give it some unexpectedness, because I expect everyone to die in an Alien movie. Like, ever since Aliens, I think I haven't expected people to survive, like, an encounter with that species of creature. Well, and it would just kind of mix it up if more people did, I think. Or,
And that's exactly why I really enjoyed the ending of this movie. Because it filled me with hope that, like...
Yeah, that makes sense.
And why I was so upset with Covenant.
Yeah.
So upset. Because I felt like it just kind of went the route of like, previous Alien sequels in the past, where it was just like, nah, we're not gonna build on any of that.
Yeah, like I said, I want to rewatch it and see what mythology they actually do get into, but I think it was more like studio notes saying, like, just do a regular Alien movie, and him being like, well, at least we're gonna pepper it with all these references from Prometheus, him playing the flute.
Yeah, no, I thought, and as soon as you brought that up, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, him wanting to experiment by just, like, putting things into people.
Yeah.
That sounds wrong.
Well, that's what he did.
That's true.
That's what he did.
I put this on Facebook, but I want you guys to know that I love my squid baby, and I wouldn't let a machine try to destroy it.
Not even with the little gripper claw?
Hey. Squid, just holding on to it for dear life.
It's ridiculous. Pretty fantastic, but ridiculous at the same time.
Yeah, that scene. Oh, man.
Hey, that pod was for men only.
That's brutal.
There's a darker... it's one thing to watch a movie where there's a bunch of, bodies bursting open and stuff, but there's a deeper darkness to this.
Yeah. It's
not just, there's this creature and you can't stop it and it wants to kill everything. It's also, in this movie, they deal with, like, a lot about ego and a lot about selfishness and about, like, questioning your origin only to find out that it's like something terrible. And like, I feel like it's almost like blasphemous in a way. Like, not that I'm a person that would get jumpy about that, because I don't mind. It's a movie, it's a story, but
you mean somebody could see it.
I could see how a person could get offended with their idea of God and what this movie says in it.
Sure, certainly. I think they try to kind of deal with that with her, Logan Marshall Green being like, so we met our creators and you're still wearing that cross? Like, we know who made us. And she's like, well, who made them? Right? So I think that's supposed to be like, it still leaves room for the possibility of a grand creator in the universe, at least for her. Although that also feels hollow because it's not a thing in the movie. Like, she just happens to wear a cross and some vague mention of her father, played by Patrick Wilson in a flashback.
Dream sequence.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I guess my opinion on it is that it's dark. They didn't just do a movie where there was aliens that wanted to kill everybody. They did a movie that was like, where you come from and who you can trust is completely incorrect from what you believed it was. And it's all random. It's all fruitless. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's kind of depressing. It's kind of a depressing story.
It's pretty much the most "please don't send me to outer space" movie I can think of.
Yeah, true.
Actually, don't do it, please.
Don't.
I've seen that movie. I don't want to anymore. It's a scary concept that you can try to extrapolate details from. Like, in the beginning of the movie, I think that is supposed to be Earth, where he's like sacrificing himself to basically give the genetic material to the planet and form life for the first time.
Because all of his DNA is splitting, creating life.
And you can assume that that's happened on many different places, many different planets. I mean, they knew exactly what to do and how to do it.
Yes.
And that's why they would have to make so many of these, what turns out to be weapons, WMD, weapons of mass destruction, to destroy everything they created. So it's like they figured out like what we had done was a mistake and we need to go out and clear all this stuff out and maybe start from scratch or something. And that's a crazy thought.
Do you think that was made clear? Or do you think
I'm
that's just you're supposing?
Yeah, I'm just supposing.
I see where Joel's coming from this as well. And it's definitely kind of one of those reveals that you get when later in the movie, that when they find that engineer, and he doesn't have a very happy reaction when he sees people. So,
well, one of the problems with that scene is David talks directly to him, and he's kind of shocked that David is able to do so.
Right.
But we have no idea what David said to him. For all we know, he said, I need you to kill all the people in this chamber and make it look like I'm also something, because if you don't, they're going to destroy everything that you've worked to do.
That's a good point. You're right, because David is not a safe narrator in this movie, or a source of info you can trust.
He has his own intentions. He can't predict what he wants.
Gotta say, that was a bad call on Waylon's part, not making him more subservient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it sounds terrible to say, but giving him free will was not a smart move.
Yeah. No, what were those characters called? The big
engineers?
The engineers. I felt like they were as randomly cruel as the aliens were. And I felt like maybe they created the aliens because they were like them, but they were, I don't know. And I see what you mean about being able to give their DNA and create life and stuff from that, but I also see that being maybe, we don't know, maybe that was to suit their own devices too. We don't know exactly why they did that or what motivates them or... Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that, like, the aliens end up looking the way they do, I guess based on whatever came out of what'd you say her name was?
Dr. Shaw?
Dr. Shaw. Because it's shown, like, in later movies that when an alien gestates in another being, it, like, takes on attributes of the thing. Like, in part 3, there's, like, those dog versions of the aliens, and then like in the Aliens versus Predators spinoff. There's like a Pred alien that's, part of that stuff. So it was like they wanted it to, no matter what, be able to infect and adapt to whatever world it was so that it could cause the most destruction. And it just got out of hand, I guess. I mean, I think there's so many good wheels turning in this. It's a shame that it all went out of nowhere. Is there a longer version of this movie somewhere? I don't think so.
If there is, I haven't seen it yet.
Get on that.
Mm-hmm.
There are some good ideas. I think maybe part of the reason I didn't like it is because I think it's so dark. Because even in some really scary horror movies, sometimes you can still believe that, like, there's good out there, even though this one crazy person is killing everyone. And, like, I don't know.
I felt that the balance would have been found in the next movie.
Maybe, yeah.
That was that was where I was at the end of Prometheus, is because I was like, oh, she lived. Elizabeth Shaw lived. I was like, because honestly, coming out of the theater, I was like, they're all gone.
Maybe I robbed myself of that by watching the other one first.
I think it does, yeah. I think it makes a difference.
Because we didn't get that moment of being like, wow, she survived.
Like, believe me, when coming out of that movie, I was in my head, I was coming up with this, like, grand scheme of, like, how she was going to
discover him.
Well, I thought, because at this point, she had just had space abortion.
Yeah.
Like, she's pumped up on painkillers. She's dodging, all this crazy nonsense is going on. I'm like, oh, man, the engineers don't even know what's coming. Yeah, so you have to understand where I was at when I saw Alien Covenant, and I was like, just like, FML, FML, guys.
It's no good.
Believe me, there were some fun points in Covenant. Go listen to the episode. As you can hear, I do have things to say about it that I like, but not impressed with what they did with Nomi's character.
It doesn't work. Like what they ended up doing. Like,
it does work.
They tried to wipe the slate clean and be
but it does work because the idea is that if David is this sociopathic, evil robot.
Oh, we're going to spoil Alien Covenant at this point, but that's okay.
It makes sense. All I'm saying is it goes with that idea.
Yeah.
The seeds that are planted in this Prometheus movie, what they took was, that he was continuing, or he begins to develop and realize that he could create something.
Well,
right?
Why did he decide to end, like, the engineers? Like, what was his motivation behind that? I mean, that's just, he just decided he was evil?
I don't actually know. I can't say.
I just wish I could see the movie that was between these two movies. The one where Elizabeth Shaw decides, sure, I'll give you back your body.
There's a short film. I was just looking on IMDb.
No.
But I don't know where it's available. It's called...
Up your button around the corner, right? Because you're messing with me right now. You're messing with me right now.
Burn. Sick burn.
Don't.
Movies that Aaron wish existed.com.
Yeah. So why are you taking my fan fiction and making it into a thing?
There's a 3-minute short.
No.
Alien Covenant prologue, The Crossing.
Oh, is it like an anime thing?
No.
I mean, I'll still watch it because I like anime, but...
Dr. Elizabeth Shaw repairs David on an abandoned engineer vessel as they continue their search for humanity's creators. It's only 3 minutes long.
But what you're telling me right now...
about the actors.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just staring at that Bumblebee ad on your phone.
Bumblebee coming soon to a theater near you.
I think it is in theaters, right?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
But I've heard that it's good.
I've heard too.
And you know what? I don't give it.
6 Transformer movies later. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm derailing our podcast.
You need to read the novelization.
Okay, you're right.
I'm just kidding. I don't know what. Yeah.
Oh, I just really liked her character. Out of all of them, she was the character I enjoyed the most. I felt she was pretty badass. Yes, it was very superficial in comparison to Ripley. I totally agree with Sarah's spoiler-free review of said character. But
I mean, they doubled down on David in the next movie because I think like. They took some, like, we've heard so many people complain about Prometheus, but everybody really likes this Michael Fassbender, so we're literally going to double down on it.
I get it. I think they just cheated her, though. Because I think it would have been pretty badass to see her.
Yeah.
To see her try to.
I would have loved to have seen that too. I mean, that could have provided more character depth for her if we saw what happened later with her.
It was the hope I was hoping for.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, how many squid babies could she have had if she survived? It's gonna haunt me forever.
My question is, were there any cats on the ship?
Nope.
Not this one.
Because that makes a difference.
Actually, that'd be pretty cool if the third Alien prequel movie, Michael Fassbender's character stopped by a cat. I'd be pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
Jones.
Whatever writer.
Specifically. The first Jones.
Jones 1.
Mm-hmm.
Crashes him into some planet. Okay, so in this one, we see that...
Cat operating flamethrower.
We see that engineer ship crash. Is that... Oh, no, it can't be the one.
It's not the same one.
Because we see the engineer get out and start trying to beat Numi Rapace again.
I mean, first of all, they've already kind of talked about how there's multiple ships.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm sure they have multiple weapons of WMDs.
It seems like they had very bad luck with these ships. I mean, multiple ones are crashing. I can only assume Idris Elba has crashed a ship into the other ones.
Wow, I guess it's just kind of a reoccurring theme, right? Like, you think you know it all, but it's just not working out, you know? No matter how much knowledge you have.
It's so scary, the idea of going into space and encountering these creatures. I think I said something when we were watching it, like, you guys, this isn't Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah, you said that while the away team was going.
Guarded. This is not... This isn't a diplomatic exploration mission.
And Mr. Data's there. He just dyed his hair blonde.
Lieutenant Data, please play your flute. For this engineer. Geordie LaForge, you're an engineer. Please meet this other engineer.
He grew old and learned how to play that flute for the engineers.
I wish there were more. I wish there was a secret robot reveal. I kind of was wondering if one of them was going to be a robot.
I'm telling you, Charlize Theron, we don't actually get to see her underneath that spaceship, but
that's true.
I think if we had, we would have saw a whole bunch of milk blood, or whatever that is that comes out of the androids.
Replicants.
Replicant milk blood.
It's the blue milk that they have in Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Emperor and Uncle Owen. Replicants.
Crazy, building all these robots.
Dang.
Get some power converters for the replicants. Wink.
Moisture farm.
A long time ago.
Moisture farming by robots. You're right.
Very long time ago.
Robots don't need moisture. There you go. Yep.
Putting the puzzle together,
yep,
guys.
That's it.
I see. I enjoyed the crazy level of violence when it was happening. I know that's a weird thing to say, but like it's
pretty intense.
It was crazy. Like when those two goofballs were stuck on the in the structure, and then like
my two favorite stupid scientists,
idiots, like trying to play with this penis monster that's popping out of the goo. There's no other way to say it. No, there is.
It's like you give them a PhD, and then you're like, you know what? You're going to spend the night in a spooky spaceship.
I'm a geologist, Mr. Hunt. I don't want to be stuck on this planet, you know. It just...
I love rocks.
This is a little too intense for me and my facial tattoos.
Look at my cool tattoos. And then, like, the space hipster he's hanging out with.
I was actually wondering how many actors were from America in this movie. And I think that the guy that she's in the relationship with is, but I don't know how many others there. Yeah, because there's a lot that aren't. There's Charlize Theron, Michael Fassbender, Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah.
The woman who played Elizabeth. Yeah.
Who is British.
Yep. And then I wasn't sure about. Well, then there's.
There's the guy you were saying from
the Paradise.
He's definitely British. And let's see where Benedict Wong is from. He's English.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And then what's his face? Guy Pearce.
You know, all these British people, all these people with different accents, and they're like, Idris, I'm sorry, can you do? Maybe he was the one. You know, it kind of seems like this. Like, I don't really want to do my accent. Can I pretend I'm Southern?
Mm-hmm.
Southern. You know, from the South America. From South America. No, the southern part of the United States of America. I don't know. What's your accent sound like? Dang. Okay, yeah, you're hired. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, spoiler alert for The Wire. I've been watching The Wire, and Stringer Bell
is awesome.
Yeah, that's I heard.
Yeah, stuff happens, man. Stuff happens, and let me just say, I was glad to see Idris in this.
Nice.
Today.
I think he cared more about The Wire as a project than he did about this movie, because he holds his accent very well in The Wire. And this one, when you told me that he was not supposed to be British, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, okay. Now I can hear he's doing like a southern twang kind of thing.
I think he was supposed to be the hat wearing person in this one, and
the person with a state name.
They've had a few sci-fi movies where there's like a person flying a ship or doing, you know, blue collar work that wears a hat, and I think he wanted to be the hat wearing character. He had the trucker hat, right?
Yeah, I feel that that's kind of keeping to the spirit of Alien as well. The difference between the different staff members of the Nostradamus.
Oh, was he the Tom Skerritt?
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Tom Skerritt was Dallas. The guy in what's his name in Alien Covenant was
kind of going into the class wars,
Minnesota or something stupid like that.
The space class wars.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that he was like, let's hook up to Charlize Theron, and she was like, no. And then he's like, really? And she's like, yeah, okay.
It was a sexy night. They weren't the only couple.
They were about to die, so I guess, you know.
Well, I mean, it does fulfill a lot of horror movie, you know, tropes. Not in a bad way.
Yeah, it does.
I was trying to see if there was somebody who had a stupid name like that, and nobody in this movie does. Danny McBride is Tennessee in Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
It's just, it hurts my brain.
Yeah.
No, you're trying too hard, guys. La la la. Okay.
But yeah.
I think the engineer guys look really cool. And the like costume, the way the helmets are a thing. I like the brain explosion scene.
Yes.
Because it's just like, wait a minute, what? Bam.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I didn't know what to expect from that scene, but like, because I didn't know if they were gonna have like a conversation. When I first saw it in the theater, I was like, are they gonna have a conversation with this like engineer head?
Yeah, because they were like purposely, trying to. I don't know what they were, because they were like, look at these cells that are forming on them, and then they like stick a turkey baster into him and like, hey, oh, he's awake now. Oh no! Like, what'd you think was gonna happen?
But we're gonna put this into his nervous system and try to make his cells active. I'm like, and it's not behind glass. That was my first. You don't have any masks on. You're not wearing like anything protective.
I was prepared for that one. I knew something was going to happen because it reminded me of that one where it reminded me of the first Alien when that one is on the face of that. Yeah. But the one that got me by surprise was when they went into the cave and they pick up the body.
Oh,
and it's like shoots out. Like, I actually like flinched and closed my eyes because I was like afraid it was going to get on me for a second.
Jump scare.
And I'm not really that keen on this kind of, you know, stuff. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And I'm not saying I didn't, but yeah, it was a little much for me.
Yeah, I understand.
I think Michael Fassbender did a pretty damn good job in this movie.
That's the thing.
And I get it. I get that's why they chose to like champion him for Covenant.
No, I mean it's a good choice. Like, he is pretty good in it. He's the best part of that second movie.
Yeah, hands down.
I liked that other actress that was in it too, but I think that they make her character seem really weak and maybe scared.
Well, they try to make in Alien Covenant, you mean?
Mhm.
They try to make her Ripley. They try to make her like super tough at the end, at least, trying to shoot things and things like that. And it's like based on the way her character's been acting, I didn't.
No, you don't. And it's not that she wasn't a good actor. I think it's just the way it was written. She was acting it out with sincerity all the way through. But
yeah.
And in this one, I could see this actress, like you were saying, becoming a Ripley if they continued with it.
Yeah.
But or not even the same, but its own badass character
exactly.
that you're following. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm so upset.
Interested.
I don't know.
I'm actually really interested to see what's going to happen post Covenant as well.
What could they do at this point? The only thing I could think is reboot.
Well, I mean, my theory.
Yeah.
My theory. First of all, listener, if you haven't listened to an Alien Covenant episode, go for it.
Watch the movie, then listen to the episode.
But here, pause right now. Go watch a 2-hour movie. Listen to our 1-hour podcast. We'll talk in 3 hours.
Read our 4-hour dissertation.
Yeah, but my theory is that Aaron's fan fiction, Alien,
Aaron's secret fantasy about Alien and the Alien franchise.
I mean, they wouldn't do this, but there was a storyline in the Dark Horse comics.
Oh yeah,
where the aliens actually invaded Earth,
and Superman had to beat them.
No, that's a different one. And actually, Superman went to space to fight them. They didn't make it to Earth.
First time or the second time?
Maybe the first time.
Okay.
I don't think I read the second one with Superman on Earth fighting him.
I don't know. There's one where he didn't have his powers. Maybe that was Superman versus Predator. I don't know.
Well, that is at least an original take on it.
Well, I mean, maybe the idea being that Michael Fassbender would put on like a smile on his face and try to get his creations there. Because the idea being revenge, right? He wants to get back at his creators. So he
Everyone wants to kill their parents.
Yeah.
No, you sound crazy.
So he takes his new babies and brings them to Earth.
It's one thing to say you want to differentiate yourself from your creator, or to say, I want to kill my heroes so that I can figure out what the truth is. But to say everybody wants to kill their own parents, I don't know if I buy that. I understand the philosophy, but yeah.
I think it takes a level of hatred that we don't have for our parents or our creators or our own children. Squid baby versus creator.
Oh, true.
The final chapter.
I think he was just trying to go in for a little kiss. Well, hey, good to see you.
Yeah. Feel like making love to a squid. No. That's not what was going on.
Just rich people looking for a way to live forever.
That's
right.
The hubris of thinking that your creator owes you an explanation.
That's right, Joel.
You know what's going to happen? Your creator's going to throw you around the room. That could have been more. That's what I was thinking. Like, he rips off the android's head. He could have done terrible things to these other people, but he just kind of pushes them around. And I will. Sorry. Yeah.
You can't just throw alternative rock hits from the 90s around like that very briefly. It's going to be stuck on my head all night now.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'll make you my dirty little secret. Wait,
Joel throwing earworms at us like xenomorphs, like a face hugger. Yeah. Thanks, Joel.
The Geiger stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
The artwork.
I find that stuff creepy, but it was very well done, and it was obviously an expanded upon idea of the original stuff.
As far as prequels go, I was really happy with that. I felt that they definitely tried to take a nod towards Giger's work as far as the engineer's craft and make that look pretty damn authentic.
Yeah, it's pretty good. there were parts of the insides of this ship that did look a lot like what was it, Nostromo's?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it had like the padding on the walls,
and
the circular hallways and stuff like that. Just not like the main deck. Obviously, looked way more advanced than anything. You know, they're obviously they didn't know what things were going to look like in the future.
Sure.
When they made that, so Mother looks more like an old style computer when they're in the room there. But yeah, for some reason they just don't ever want to like reflect on the previous material, like, oh, things will still look that way. I mean, maybe they work, you know.
I feel bad that that's the first thing. I feel really bad that's the first thing that I critique about it, but I want these nods.
That's you nitpicking. That's okay.
I want these nods. I want, you know.
Don't worry about it.
It just brings more of
At least you didn't say, where was the aliens? Because that is a terrible reason not to like the movie.
Oh, no. I mean, I feel that was actually something that Covenant really did kind of bring to the table. The idea, again, sorry, I'm terrible at this podcast thing.
What are you podcasting?
I'm podcasting Prometheus and Alien Covenant at once.
It's okay.
But I think that this is it. I get it. You know, it's a good setup for us seeing, you know, more xenomorph activity in the second film. But no, honestly, going out of the theater, I was not upset that I didn't see a full blown, you know, xenomorph. That really didn't bother me because it would make more sense in a prequel sense that maybe it took some time to evolve, like what we kind of see with the engineer at the end of the film. So
yeah, it's just an example of what that bioweapon was capable of. Wasn't even like, these are the real enemy. It was like, this is what this chemical can do.
And like seeing Michael Fassbender's character go from just alien or human servant to evil bad guy with his little poisoning the cup of the human that's continually making sure he knows that he's a robot the whole time in the movie.
It's called an experiment.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say you liked his transition from human-looking robot to head in a duffel bag.
Also a favorite progression of mine. Actually, I really liked how that ended with him just being like, thank you, and her zipping it shut. I thought that was really well done.
Bag. I understand.
I was into it. I thought that was actually pretty awesome.
Good thing she brought that duffel bag with her.
Yeah.
Bowling ball bag.
Threw the bowling ball. I guess I won't need this anymore.
She's like, you know, this will fit a head. I feel like at some point I'm going to be carrying a head. Getting a head in life.
It was a callback to when they took the head in the beginning.
Oh.
On the ship.
Oh, one head for another.
Oh.
Decontaminate immediately. You guys feel all right?
Yeah.
Discussion? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listeners. I already kind of did the outro stuff, but you guys need to think of a lesson that you learned from Prometheus, a.k.a. the movie where a giant monster face is underground for some reason. Like, if it was just a base for them to build weapons, who made that face for them? Like, I just wanted to spruce it up. I'll put a big face here.
Yeah, you know, I keep all my really deadly weapons in one place. I just kind of want a human head right there. Or maybe an engineer head.
I just remember what the enemy looks like. Oh. In case you could ever forget.
We just traded one tomb for another.
What?
I was kind of surprised that those creatures even came to that creature even came to life. Because you're so used to an alien seeing like the wreckage of like what is left behind and that there's like no hope to like find out what happened from the previous like person that survived or whatever. But yeah, this was equally they didn't get any answers from that either, so
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So as I said before,
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Happy holidays to all our listeners out there. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Happy Hanukkah! That's over at this point, but
Happy
anyway,
Space Holidays.
I still want to acknowledge
Happy Life Day from Star Wars.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Festivus.
Happy
Winter Solstice.
Ayamiha. In February. Happy peace on earth to everybody.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Santa Claus. The reason for the season. If you would like to complain about me, please write into pleasedon'tpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to complain about Aaron, you can write it on a piece of paper and then throw it in the trash, because I don't want to hear it. If you have any money you want to send our way, that'll shut us up. Just put it in. Send it in our Ko-Fi site, or Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/PDSMiOS. And for just the price of $3, we can sing you a nice Christmas carol. I mean, we don't get a lot of requests for Christmas carols, but we're more than willing to sing at least a few standards. Maybe something like Jingle Bells, Deck the Halls,
We'll
Ave
send you
Maria.
a photo of our cats.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I could do that.
I actually think we might have some success with that, because these are cute cats.
Yeah, I'll
Price of
confirm.
$3.
I come and visit Sarah and Joel's cats all the time. Sometimes I podcast with them, but most of the time I pet kitties.
And technically, we have 5 cats whose photos you could be receiving.
That's right.
Now.
I also have 2 cats of my own to send you pics of.
Collect all 5.
Just as adorable, yes.
I could Photoshop them flying through outer space for you.
See, this is perfect. You pay $3, we'll send you a random picture of a cat. That doesn't guarantee you're going to get a different cat every time.
That's
you
right.
might get duplicates, but there's also the foil backed cat photos.
Oh yeah.
And those, of course, are extra special.
Listener, if you have an 8x11 printer, you could buy some photo paper. You could print out this photo we send you, and then you could trade these photos with your friends.
Hey, for $15, I'll take a photo of the neighbor's cat.
I was going to physically print it myself and send it to them. I mean,
Oh, okay, sorry.
I
Don't
think
make
this could
bootlegs.
be a way to make friends.
Don't make bootlegs of our cat photos, all right?
I wasn't going to make it a PDF.
Sorry, I went way too DIY.
No, that's okay.
I was
They
going
do
to
it on
send
Etsy
them
now too.
like a tiny GIF. I wasn't gonna spend money on it. Come on. Anyways, ko-fi.com/PDSMiOS. Give us your money, please. Oh God, please.
I have some photography experience.
Check out the rest of the podcast at eartrumpetaudio.com. That's the network we're a part of, and we appreciate their support in all our endeavors. Thank you very much to David DeRoy for our theme music and to Jed Dowtry for our podcast logo. Lessons from Prometheus. Aaron's getting out his special
I gotta look real quick.
Necronomicon. Klaatu Barata Necktie.
All I have to... It's not really a lesson, but Joel, are you a robot?
Why?
Do you like Steven Stills? No, I'm just kidding.
That's your come on line? You're trying to go to bed with me? I mean, that worked for him. He's like, we could just go sleep together whenever we want. And she's like, I'm just going to leave. And so she walks away and he's like, wait a minute. Are you a robot? 10 minutes, my room. I think she was going to show him that he was a robot, not the other way around.
That would have been pretty awesome, actually. She ended up being like some Westworld robot.
I thought that he was saying you'd have to be a robot to not be into me.
You'd have to be a robot to resist these guns.
Lessons.
I know, it's hard. The first thing that came to mind is if you're doing a project that's been funded, find out who it's been funded by.
Yeah.
And why.
Yeah, do your research.
And don't be surprised if it ends up being less of an altruistic mission than you expected it to be.
Damn, that's...
Eyes open, guys.
Eyes open.
Yeah.
I just got reminded of...
Take off those rose-colored glasses.
Of Contact. Old man dying in space, funds the remaking of that ring so that he could go meet
building alien tech.
Whatever alien things there, possibly our creators. Wow. Same story without any killer aliens in it.
That's right.
No, the aliens are nice in that.
James Wood is evil. Also in the movie.
Tom Skerritt's in that.
He's got an agenda.
I guess my lesson is just don't ever have sex. You never know if you're gonna get space alien babies.
You got a 50-50 chance that it's either going to be an alien baby or
Yeah.
you're going to do it with Idris Elba.
Oh, okay.
You might end
Flipped.
up pregnant
Coin flip.
with an alien.
Yeah, you might.
Charlize Theron also had an alien baby.
Oh, just wake up afterwards. Damn, guys, I'm 3 months pregnant.
That's impossible.
It's only 10 hours ago.
David's like,
Damn.
that's not a normal gestation. Like, yeah, no.
Guy, yeah, come on, don't.
You know what? He's a smug space sandal wearing robot man.
It's just like,
Sensitivity chip needed.
You need that data chip, dude.
plug it in the back of his head, fry him out.
What's your lesson?
Oh, my lesson is that if you don't have a cat in your alien movie, it's not going to be as good as any of the other ones. That's just like, why bother?
Nailed it.
Cat POV.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to see an alien movie from the cat's point of view.
Same here.
It's a gosh darn hero cat.
Yeah. It's a brave cat.
Definitely.
Jones forever. We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
eartrumpetaudio.com.
Ideas and entertainment.
Loud and clear.